Huh? Video. Are you getting that PowerPoint now? No. Yes. Is it come? Okay. Can you see the comment? Huh? Audio is coming and the picture. ऐसे जाएगा क्या? Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. There was some technical hitch, and I'm Father Norbert Menezes, and I would like to share this evening with each one of you the preschool objective. You know that in the second national education policy in 1986, ECC was given a very important place, but it did not take up, and it left to the states to do the ECCE, that is the early childhood care education. Then in 2009, we had the right to education, and in that section 11, with a view, all children of age 3 and above should be provided early childhood care education. And so then later on in 2013, this policy for universal access was given. And then then when we got the next one in 2020, the new education policy, then again this preschool education has come into the formal school. Now many of us are lost. But I'm just calling. Slide again. So one of the so what is now preschool education is designed for children from 3 to 6 years old, and it provides a foundation for their future academic and social development. So formerly we were not paying so much attention, but to form the independence from the constitution right up to now, we always insisted on paying attention to children of 0 to 6 years old. Now, what has happened in neuroscience, we have come to this awareness that we need to take care of children between 0 to 6 years. The RTE talks about children from 6 to 14. And so in the new education policy, the preschool will be in Anganwadis or nursery school or preparatory schools, kindergartens, Montessori schools and all. So preschool education focuses on developing a range of skills. It is not just initial literacy, but there is also numeracy, language development, social and emotional development, physical development, and creative expression. Now, since the children are very small and since they are all learned through play, all this will be developed through play. So today when we are talking about the preschool objective, commonly there are what we call different in the some places you have 6, some places you have 5 because of the clubbing. But what I'm going to talk this evening on the 8 preschool objectives. And it is on that we are going to move ahead. So the first one is the social emotional learning. So I will be talking on each one of them. First, what is it about and how we can do through play develop this objective. The first one is the social emotional development. Now this begins early in life. We never paid attention to social emotional development. But today, more and more awareness is come. We need to pay attention to this thing. So this begins early in life, and it is very essential for the child's sense of well-being. If you want the child to good about himself or herself, we will have to pay attention to the social emotional development. And so it is. So the whole point of preschool should be of a caring environment where children are cared, where they are loved, where they feel safe. And so it is, we have to establish and maintain a positive relationship with children so that they can maintain a positive relation with adults and peers. So the whole classroom environment, and especially the teachers of the preschool, should be one who are caring, not just coming to do their duty. One who love the TS children, they should be there. And then the strong emotional foundation skill in early years, if they get that in the proper way, they will manage every day in their social interaction later in life. Now, this is something that we should pay attention. If you want children to communicate, if you want them to become social being, to socialize, then this part of the social emotional development should take place. Most of us, we forget this area, and in this we also pay attention to children who can recognize their emotion and help develop their social skill. Now, how should we do this thing? So the first thing is create a positive and an inclusive classroom environment. So the first thing we should do is children should feel safe, valued, and respected. These are three key words. Safe. There should be no shouting, no punishment. They should, whatever their ideas are, it should be respected, valued, and they should feel respected. And so one of the things is you must help children to identify and label the emotion. So there are a lot of activities. How do I feel? On paper plate, there are four key uh, emotion put: happy, sad, worried, or whatever it is. And children can identify what is it. So we let children identify and say their emotion, because then we adults can recognize what is the child feeling within. Now, when the child is little bit worried, not feeling good, we should treat them how to do this calming strategies. So they recommend, for even for small children, teach them a little bit of yoga, teach them a little bit of deep breathing strategies. Then another thing is reinforce positive social skills by greeting others, using polite language, and then taking turns, taking turns for games, taking turns to on the slide, taking turns for different activities. Then we facilitate conversation. Then we should have what we call conversation. It's where we, the teacher, give a story maybe, and then take their views so that they can express their thoughts, their ideas, their feeling, and actively listen to one another. So the social emotional learning today is considered very, very important. After the COVID, we had to focus this on high school students, college students, so that we could get back to the academics. If we ignore this, then the academics will suffer. So much for the social emotional learning. The next thing we go is, next objective is language and communication skills. What is this? Speaking is an indicator of fine motor skill and a reflection of cognitive development. Now, we all know that children learn first by hearing, then by speaking, and then only writing. And so preschool should not begin their work by writing. This is a place where many schools make a mistake. So the teacher should be speaking and the students listening. And the more the students listen, they will able to speak. And then later on, they will able to write. So language and communication plays a very important role, and it is a foundation for the future years and for the rest of child's life. So the point, especially in preschool 1 and 2, will be on listening, where the teacher communicates, and then it will be like open-ended question, allow children to talk, allow them to express what they like in the story. And so by this, without using the textbook, it is just by storytelling or by simple communication, what is happening, where initial language and communication skills are developed. And so what will be the strategy? Read a variety of books. Read books aloud to children. And it is something very important, for children need to hear lot of stories. They need to listen to grown-ups talking to them. And slowly then they pick up to communicate, to use that word. Then use interactive reading techniques, such as asking open-ended question. What did you like in this story? What did you like today? What what made you happy? Open-ended question and discussing the story. Encourage children to retell or to act out stories using puppets drawing. That's why in the preschool, puppets, storytelling, drummers, drawing is the medium through which we teach. So all this will come under play. And so one of the things that's why today all over the world for preschool, the medium of teaching, the medium of communicating is through games, is to play, because that is a natural way where children from 3 to 6 years they learn. Then listen actively to children and show interest. Whenever children they communicate, we have to show interest and incorporate visual aids, picture cards, charts, diagram, support language comprehension, vocabulary development. So for the communication, language and communication skill, some of these strategies that we as a pedagogy to be used are mentioned here. Now we come to the third is called the cognitive development. The third objective is the cognitive development. What does cognitive development is focusing on child's intellectual skills. Now, why are we paying attention to this? Now, it is said, neuroscience is telling us that 90% of the neural connections are done by the age of 6. And so what if these connections are being done and if children are exposed to rich interaction with adults and these connections are reinforced, then children become smart and they grow. And wherever these are not developed because the lack of awareness or parents have to work or they don't go for the preschool, then they suffer from these objectives or from the skills. So if we want children to develop these intellectual skills, we will have to do it through play, different activities to develop cognitive development. So what is this cognitive development we are talking? It is how child process information, the understanding of concepts, the ability to learn and express, and receptive language and perception skills. Take for example, the one we have to use something very, very concrete. So initially they start with seeing, touching, and that is how they pick up. And the last stage is abstract. So we cannot start teaching these children with writing 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. That is an abstract way of teaching. They need to see things and then you make them count. You make them count. And so during preschool, children memories are becoming stronger, which means they often remember a lot of details. And so during this time, we can help children to learn new words. We can help them to process things at their level. They can share also ideas in new and interesting way. Once you tell them a story, and when they are retelling the story, they tell it in a very different way. Makes they in their own level, they make it very exciting. The imagination are becoming a primary vehicle for play and learning. That's why in the child play, we have sometime what we call in which they may imagine things and start doing these games that they do. So the play facilitates the child ability to think, understand, communicate, imagine, and work out what may happen next. That's why experts in preschool education always insist that no textbook should be used. Rather, it should be used only through games, to activities. Talking the first 2 years should be something in which children are talking, they're playing, they're interacting, they're processing, and at the same time, development is taking place. Now, how to do this cognitive development? So engage children hands-on learning, okay? like manipulating, exploring material, solving problem. Provide them opportunities for open-ended play. Open-ended play, which allows creativity. Give them a story, conclude the story. Um, Present children with age-appropriate puzzles, game, challenges that require them to find solution, and encourage children to recall events, sequence, step in a familiar routine so that it enhances memory and organization skill. Now, in the later on, we'll be seeing the different types of game, but today is only to familiarize ourselves with the different objectives. So we have done 3 objectives, and now we are coming to the 4th. Objective is physical development. In physical development, we are paying attention to 2 basic areas: gross motor skills and fine motor skills. Large muscle movement is on jumping, walking, and all, and fine motor skills is on writing, picking up things and all. It is so important that in the first year, or at least at the beginning, first few months, not to make children write because their fine motor skills are not developed. And so before they can hold a pencil and you tell them to scribble, there are a lot of other things that should be done. So preschool children are in constant movement. So there should be a lot of movement in children because the gross motor skills should be developed. And so you must give a lot of time for children for running, for climbing, for jumping, for chasing each other. And this is very important. Before they write, give them time to scribble, to paint, to pour, to cut with the scissors, put some puzzles together, string beads. These are things which will develop the gross motor skills and the fine motor skill. So motor skills are much more coordinated and purposeful, but they have to develop because slowly the fine motor skills will come. I have seen in some schools already in class 3, when they're 3 years old, teachers, which is wrong, because they need to first process a lot of things by play, by talking, and then the last thing should be on writing. So how are we going to do this thing? So have some place where children can imitate movement, they practice eye-body coordination, have activities that promote balance, coordination, body control, hopping on one foot, balancing on a line, throwing and catching ball. All these things, when they do, they have this what we call builds up their self-esteem. They feel about themselves and all things in dynamic performance. Organize nature walk, take them outside, let them see different type of plants, different leaves, if possible, insects, and encourage health habits. Because in our preschool objective, they have taken 3 domains, which you'll see later on: hands washing, teeth brushing, proper nutrition. So this is an area that is there. The 5th area which we are taking is creativity and expressive art. Now, this is what we mean by creative activity like drama, dance, art, craft. Now, if we as many people are want should pay attention to all these things, because all these activities can make and holistic development. And so to engage children imagination through music, to visual arts, movement and dance, drama, storytelling. That's why the new education policy will insist on storytelling and many other things like art integrated education, sports integrated education. So creative art is are deliberately open-ended. There is no end to it. It gives a free expression. It promotes divergent thinking. Divergent. All need not have to say the same thing, do the same thing. It develops the imagination and builds confidence. Then understand and express emotion. Learn about the world and the place. Communicate. Allow children to communicate their thoughts. And in one sense, help children to practice and improve fine motor skills, gross motor skill, high coordination, and build their word power and memory. So the creative and expressive arts are opportunity for them to become in one sense, the the four C's of our of the 21st century skill. One of them is creativity. Today, the world job opportunities will be available for those who are creative to repeat the same again. So, what should you do for that? Use crayon, markers, color pencil, paint, have different material, help allow open-ended art activity, let children freely express their thoughts and ideas, tell them how should we do dramatic play area where they can say, act out, incorporate sensory elements into art activity. Now, the five senses, each of those senses have been developed through activity such as touching of materials, scented markers, creative art with sand, with salt played out, and engage children in the discussion about artwork and ask open-ended questions so that they can reflect and express themselves. Now, we have done this couple of objectives. Remember, uh, this is not the way in which we would normally think what education is. Preschool education and the objective is much wider because we are seeing how we can make the neural connection in the brain stronger and better. And all these different areas that we are talking about, the different and different activities, they are a help in making them stronger. The next thing, the next preschool objective is independence and self-help skills. Now, this is, we have to train the child from the early age to perform certain tasks independently. What are self-help skills? They are a set of essential life skills that allow children to perform daily tasks independently, like going to the toilet, taking care of himself, washing the, putting on his dress. Some of these things are called self-help skills. When he's feeling hungry to express himself, a discomfort, all these are called. So these skills include dressing, eating by himself, feeding himself, hygiene, and other personal tasks that promote independence and self-reliance. And it makes confidence and capable individual. Custom, we do things for children. Today, part of education is allow children to do self. And so one of the things is in the preschool classes, we need to make children do things for themselves. Give them time to eat, give them the time to eat, to be clean, to take care of them, to become confident and capable person. So the above skills and the other skills are to promote independence, self-reliance, and self-esteem. Now, how do we do this? Dressing. To put on and take off their clothes, including buttons, zippers, shoelace. Now, shoelace is a little difficult, but shirt buttons, they should able to put, they should able to put on and take off their clothes. This is, we need to train them. It may not be all that perfect, that is fine, but being the fine motor skills. So shoelace is put only when the fine motor skills develop. So in one sense, by making children do this thing, all fine motors. Now, children have a play, pretend play, what we call, they cook from their water bottles, all these things. They hygiene is they need to their hands, brush their teeth, they were not able to take bath independently, but gradually we must tell parents, let them do a lot of washing by themselves, and all parents can do. Putting putting away things, other item in the designation place, that is another area which they do. And communication is where to express the need. What do they need? Wants, feeling you word and Japanese words, but they should, if they are not, if there is some discomfort or you're having fever. There are different activities suggested for this healthcare. The seventh area in which we are coming is on social skills and cooperation. Now, what do we mean by this area? In social skills, some people they would like to focus on this because today it is all work, all corporate works, and most of the other tasks are done through teamwork. And so there is an emphasis on how to work as a team, how to make friends and friendship and all. So social skill during in this preschool time, we want to help children to navigate social situation, make friends, communicate effectively. Because today your friendship, communicating effectively, different social situation, how to navigate is very important. Then when we communicate, we gain empathy and we learn to communicate with others. So social skills is in this objective, we want children to understand people's others' feeling and to communicate to others. And then we are also looking in this objective how to cooperate, share, recognize emotion, and listen to others. We are coming in a world in which the child initially is me, and especially with one child, they all focus on me. And now we are trying to help them say the world is not only one person, but one need to mix with others, share with others, recognize, listen to others. And so in this social skills and cooperation, there is a focus on to engage children in social activities. And so for that, teachers have to model positive behavior, often guidance and feedback. We'll have to say, we all need to stand in a line, give a feedback that is very good, so that we lay a strong foundation for social skill development. And so, what are the strategies to do this thing? Some of the strategies are establish clear, consistent rule that promote kindness, respect, and inclusivity. See, we are coming in a culture where people are talking, profiling other groups of people because of religion, caste. But in the school, we will have to say everyone is to be respected. We have to be kind to all. We have to accept all. And small children, they do not like to play with all. And so we should encourage empathy and foster a sense of belonging. We all are children of, say, of the preschool. We all belong to a red house or yellow house, whatever it is. So, one sense of belonging in children. Model positive social behavior, how to interact with others respectfully and cooperatively. So, because the children need to see how it is done, and so one have to demonstrate in the class. Children need to hear, see, so that they are able to imitate. And focus on active listening skill, maintaining eye contact, nodding, responding appropriately. And so, in this way, we focus on this dimension of the uh, of this being cooperative and moving ahead. The last part is this cultural awareness. Now, because of the new dimension that we are aware of being interconnected, there is a very important objective that is coming, in which we need to put right down from the preschool of that we all have interconnected. So we all have to appreciate different culture. And then remember, children minds are like sponges. They absorb the richness of different culture and the world around them. So how do we learn? We have in our preschool, we should expose them to different songs, maybe different dances, different dress. And so they learn cultural awareness through hands-on activity, visual prompt, cultural specific music, food, and art. And why do we do that? A future generation that embraces diversity, that fosters empathy, can celebrate the beauty of the global community. And in this cultural awareness, there is a whole on ecology also is being brought up, and global citizenship. And how do we do that? We need to celebrate, even in the preschool, cultural festival, holidays, and showing their significance in the level of children, like Holi, Raksha Bandhan, Christmas, or Eid, some sort of a display of some rituals, of some external, of greeting, so that they understand that there is richness, there is diversity in the way in which people live and express themselves. Have simple songs or dances from diverse culture. Let them see. It is not important that they understand. It is basically that they see the songs are different, dances are different. Then organize what we call multicultural food days. It is very important right from early start. Children start experiencing eating different types of food. Food from south, food from north, different food is, so have different cultural food days. Introduce traditional clothing and art forms from different cultures, and read stories to different read stories that explore different custom, tradition, the way of life, and encouraging discussion about cultural diversity. And so at the end of this thing, to cap it up, what we have focused is on these 8 uh, preschool objectives. So the first one is the social emotional development, in which we try to help students to express themselves and to become sensitive to the feelings of other children. That when I say something, when I heard, it is not good. So, and also being sensitive to themselves, that when they get angry, they can offend others. So, at their level, to help, because today, if the social emotional development takes place, it will affect, it will positively improve the other development that has been mentioned there. We all know language and communication skills. Now, in this one, if parents are talking to their children, and if the teachers talk to their children, then this language communication skills, it will be developed. Remember, small children and most of us, all of us, we first learn by listening, then by speaking, then by writing, not the other way out. So if you want children to communicate, we should read story aloud. We should have stories in which they communicate, ask question, and they are talking to themselves. Cognitive development is basically helping them in the development of thought process at their level, giving them some sort of activity to do in which their intellectual development take place. In the physical development teachers that we need to mention here, will be on the fine motor skill, gross motor skill. Start with the gross motor skills and then work on the fine motor skills by cutting of paper, by selecting buttons from the tray, where they're using their fingers to pick up things, to use a stick and on a plate of salt to do what we call standing lines, slanting lines, circle, scribbling. All those things will be part of the physical development. In the creative and expressive art, this is very important, teachers. Please do not block their creativity, because at this age, their imagination is very fertile and very strong. So they like to express themselves on the walls and whichever place they have. And so drawing becomes very important. Use of crayon, use of rhymes, use of acting, imitating, all these areas become very, very strong. The sixth point is on the independence. It is very important, because I see also in our on the roads, parents are in one sense not allowing children to become independent. Even in the school, they have to hold them and all. So as much as possible, allow children, they should walk, they should do things, take care of themselves. When it is necessary, they cannot, then we need to help them. But right from the very start at preschool, we should able to help children to become independent and learn sufficient self-help skills. The final one, the seventh one, is on social skills and cooperation. This is for socializing. You remember, at this age, a lot of learning takes place by socializing. When you play, children pick up language, they pick up many other skills. And if they are social skills, how to talk, how to greet, how to say positive, not to get angry, how to cooperate, how to stand in line. These dimensions for small children, when they are trained, given opportunity to demonstrate, then they build up a lot of skills. As a result, they feel confident. And today, more and more, the cultural skills, the global skills, the ethical skills, all that comes under this cultural awareness, what is right, wrong at the level of the children, that objective has to be given in the cultural awareness. So it is eight preschool objective. What we are saying is today, it is just not the language that matters. It is just not writing that matters, but for holistic development at the preschool, we need to focus on this eight preschool objective. Thank you very much for this, for patiently listening to me. And in case I do not know how much I will able to hear, but I hope that all of us will make sure that as we begin this in next academic year, we take all this objectives seriously. And it is not through textbook. Remember, it is only by play activities where we develop all this preschool objective. And so, as the government tells us, as the new education policy tells us, there will be no what we call books for the preschool. We must all learn how the importance of play and how through play we can develop these objectives. We will have to develop some of these uh, programs by ourselves. Thank you very much.